I do note that the dogs have been put back outside while Joe has a shower, so whining and door kicking is probably about to commence. How are you, Matty?
I'm okay, Dan. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. How much rain did you get?
It's still going.
Right. How much rain have you got so far?
Honestly, I wasn't keeping score this week.
Right.
I was only keeping score last week because bloke the old man hates said, "Oh, we're going to get 100 mil over the next 3 days,"
Right.
and he absolutely hates them.
Right.
So I just thought I would keep track of the official weather tally.
Right. So we could go and throw it in his face.
Yeah. Turns out we got 100 mil over 2 days.
So he was wrong.
He was wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
It's been raining, but it's not been too heavy this
Right.
week. It's raining now currently, and it was so beautiful this morning that I just didn't want to get out of bed.
Well,
But here we are.
talking to Cleve late yesterday afternoon, he was expecting another event.
Well, he's had a lot of build up to it.
Yes. Anyhow, he was going out for dinner last night, so hopefully he went out for dinner and got home before it started eventing.
Well, I think they got inflatable pontoony things you can hang on the side of your vehicle.
I think his locals a walk away. So he'd need inflatables to strap on the side of himself.
I thought he lived somewhere out in the hinterlands of the Upper Sunshine Coast.
Curran.
I wouldn't have expected him to have a local in walking distance.
It's probably not. It's probably 3 minutes in the car, 5 minutes in the car. It's pretty close. There's a microbrewery down the road.
Oh,
But
okay.
they
Fair enough.
do food and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm hoping if I ever get up there to sort of check it out.
Sounds good.
If I ever get up there.
Well, first step out the door.
Yeah, that's painfully uncomfortable. There was a work shindig on last night. The company's just launched its newest instrument into the world, which is a big deal by all accounts because we're the first to market with this type of instrument. Blah blah blah. And the requirements have said shindig whether you had to have a negative RAT to attend. As one of my colleagues so eloquently put it, I'm not stuffing something up my nose to go to a party.
Fair enough.
So, maybe the stuffing of things up noses has to happen when you're at the party. But yeah, I declined to attend, so I'm sure that'll go down as a negative on my mid-year review.
You declined,
I did.
which is a stick up something else.
Which would be funny if that's actually how you pronounce my surname, but so many people get it wrong that I just give up.
Yeah, well, Dutch.
Yeah.
Fake Dutch.
No, no,
Dutch.
it's real Dutch. It's actually the
Don't you
name.
need like 5 more J's in there?
Well, when before my father emigrated, it was CLEIJ, so he changed it when he got here.
Like I said, anglicised Dutch.
Anglicised, but re-anglicised because when the family moved into Holland, they changed the Y to an I and J. So
Fair enough.
So he just changed it back again because he'd had conversations with his father that his father's name was Dutchified. So convoluted. Anyhow, half my cousins have CLEIJ and half the others have CLEY. So
All right. So you weren't painting a can of Coke this morning?
I wasn't, because
Just
it's already painted. I could get that miniature that I finished last week and show the viewer.
well, yeah.
Oh, the bonus of wireless headphones. Now, where is it? You with the parasol. Come here. I've painted a few since, so she's not at the front of the cabinet anymore. So, the question of the day is, how far behind is Twitch?
Your parasol miniature is on the screen, so
Okay.
not too far.
Not too far.
And it's looking good.
Uh,
Nice and shiny. The red is shinier than I was expecting.
yeah, that's the matte coat does that, because it isn't quite matte. But the pig is very cute.
Yeah. I was just thinking on choice of basing.
What about it?
Not really the sort of person you'd expect to be seeing tramping through a muddy field.
You wouldn't, absolutely. But
if it matches the rest of the squad, army, whatever they're called, then yeah, okay.
yes. So maybe I will collect.
Like, I get the pig in the mud. Although, teacup, anime, pig, maybe not.
Everybody's got to get their hands dirty, or trotters in this case, at some point in time. So here's where we are with the basing with the Yu-Ching. So just for context. Yes, in order to fit in, she had to tramp through the mud. The poor thing.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
I do like how the pants came out on that one. It's very nice. Actually, thinking about it, the pants on that one are pretty cool too. I don't know if you can see, but it's actually purple.
Yeah, I see it's purple and it's sort of squishy, brainy texture.
That's a very good way to describe it.
Crinkly.
Crinkly. And that hacker really needs some lead stuck in the base because it continually falls over. This off-balance miniatures can be difficult. So, did I mention that I'd got a manga for Infinity?
Yes, you had.
This thing? Outrage. Oh, I'm missing my other camera.
Now that you mention it.
Wonder what's going on there. Because I was going to hold it up to the other camera, and there's no point if it's not on. You know, they say when it's not on, it's not on. There you go.
There we go. It's on.
Remarkable. So, yes, there's that, which was the first manga that they did. It was back in 2016. They've done another one, So that one's Outrage, and they've done another one called Betrayal. So Betrayal was cool because it sort of came in a box, if you like. I'll try and open this without completely destroying it. And so, the book's quite large. It's quite a bit bigger than the other one, but it's not the full size of the box because the box came with a miniature in it as well.
Fair enough.
So the more interesting thing is that they released figure packs to go along with both of them. And because Outrage was released in 2016, it's out of print. They stopped it middle of last year, and that means it's actually reasonably difficult to get, and I had to go to an online seller in France, but it's here. And so they're all the miniatures for all of the characters in the Outrage manga. Not quite all, actually. There's another one. One of the lead characters comes in a different set. That's up on That's up on the thing, and this is the character pack for Betrayal. So it's got the lead characters as miniatures.
I like that one with the sort of wing gun drone things.
Yeah. You would be very much a fan of the Shizvasti then, because a lot of their figures are like that. So yeah, lots and lots and lots of very cool stuff, and I finished reading it.
Were you entertained?
I can't say I understood it, but I was entertained. The graphics were brilliant. The action was pretty spectacular.
Well, what more could you ask?
I sometimes wonder how long I'm supposed to sit there looking at the images to try and figure out what's going on in the image. Or whether it's just look at it, read the text, and move on and see what sticks.
Pretty much that. It's a comic book. You read it the same way you would read a comic book. You skim over the smaller panels and you spend your time on the bigger ones.
Right. Well, I'm afraid the only comics I ever delved really deeply into was Asterix.
Well, those aren't comic books.
Aren't they?
Those are albums.
Oh. I obviously don't understand the parlance.
It's what Europeans call comics.
Right.
Yeah, Asterix is about as much as I read as a kid. Although I had the Team Yankee franchise, you know well. There was a Team Yankee graphic novel based on the novel.
Right.
I had that as a 6-year-old.
You're talking about the Howard Coyle book?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I did not realise there was a comic of it.
Yeah, 6 issues.
Right.
It was pretty good as a 6-year-old.
Okay.
Yes, I actually remember where I picked it up from. I picked it up at a second-hand bookstore in Kingaroy in country Queensland.
There you go.
For $4.
All 6?
Yeah.
Wow.
Seeing as how this was 1990.
Yeah.
Pretty good deal.
Yeah. I dare say they probably didn't make a lot of money on that.
No. And Kingaroy is a place, mind you, that's known only for growing peanuts and Sir Bjorky Peterson. So,
well,
yeah, growing peanuts.
That's a tautology. Oh, dear, oh dear. Sorry.
He was a peanut farmer. believe it or not.
Yes. He was a peanut. ... farmer.
For any Americans out there, either now or in the future, think Jimmy Carter,
Right.
except crossed with Richard Nixon. And you've got Sir Joe Biocky-Peters.
So Jimmy Dixon. He certainly was the big dick.
Well, as a Queenslander, I can't help but, be fond of him, even though
Well,
he was before my time.
You're absolutely allowed to be fond of something as anachronistic as that.
More so than other Queensland politicians. Hello, Kevin.
Yes. Moving on. Talking about books that you buy as a kid. So there's this one. Which maybe I'd put up to the other camera. So it's one of a trilogy by Elliston Trevor about the Second World War. There's a very famous one of a plane crashes in a desert and the crew has to survive. And I can't remember the name of it, but it's a very famous film. It's got huge stars in it.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So that's the aeroplane one, and I don't remember what the sea one is, I'm afraid. But, as a kid, you sort of see a book cover with a tank on it like that, and you go, wow, I've got to have that. So
That's how I got started on BattleTech novels.
Yeah. Big stompy robot on the front. So I bought this book, not this exact one, but I'll get to that bit in a minute. I bought this book, again, $2 in a secondhand bookstore as a kid. So that would have been late 70s, 77, 78, something like that. So this was first published in 56, and this one that I'm holding in my hand was printed in 80. So it was this specific cover. And after my marriage collapsed and, I moved out on my own again, and I went through the first rebirth, if you like, of myself as a person, and I got rid of virtually everything I had that had anything to do with war, which forms a fairly major regret, actually, because there was some stuff in there that I would dearly still like to have. And I go through periods of nostalgia. I am terribly nostalgic from time to time. And I'd given that book away, and there was no way I was asking for it back, because it went to a good friend. So I went hunting for it on the internet and found the exact cover that I wanted. Only this time I think I paid probably $35 for it by the time I got it here.
Well, yeah.
The price of nostalgia.
So what are you working on this week?
High Elves.
Oh, yeah.
Those pointy-eared purveyors of truth and order. Both of those words in quotes.
With their distinctive shield shape.
Yes. So these are the last 2 units of the High Elves that I'm painting to take to Gen Con.
That's getting closer all the time too.
It certainly is. Far too rapidly. There's so much else to do that I'm probably just going to pull the pin on painting armies after these 2 units are done. And I'll take only those, as there's no way I'm going to be able to get the dwarves done as well as the barbarians. You know, there's a faint hope of getting the barbarians done, but I had a heck of a week at work.
Don't you always?
Well, yeah,
Sadly.
but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday combined I had 18 hours worth of meetings.
That sounds unproductive.
It is incredibly unproductive. You don't get anything done. So I blocked my calendar out yesterday and just told people to go away and just worked. So it was nice. I actually achieved something yesterday for the first time in weeks, months possibly.
Well, that's good.
But yeah. What did you get up to?
Well, this week I finished off a unit of ice switches, which you can see on the Demonworld Facebook group.
I did.
But anyone else as well. And I'm kind of glad that I did, because it turns out from all of my orders of ISTHAC stuff that I didn't really mix up the 3 different strains within the existing ISTHAC range
Yeah.
very well. I basically did all of the Beastmen first, and then Undead and Ice Switches mixed together.
Yep.
Except there was a lot less Undead.
Right.
And so I got a little bit sick of painting Ice Switches at the end there.
Yeah, sure.
But
4
that,
units is a lot.
yeah, it is. But not just those. There's also the cavalry and the snow cannon.
Oh,
And
yeah. And the
the
ice
bear
sled.
sled. Yeah, and I've actually still got one that I haven't done yet because I'm intimidated by it. Yeah, sorry, just losing my voice. Yeah, anyway, I didn't mix it up very well, and I ended up with 3 units of Ice Witch Furies in a row, basically.
Yep.
So yeah, a little bit tired of them. And then I pulled out my last packet from that particular shipment just a couple of days ago, and I'm working on the basing of that. It's another Mounted Knights of the Cleansing Dark.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got to put some basing on them, which I was going to do this morning if I felt like it, and I haven't. Yeah, so I've got some texture paint to go on that, and then blah blah blah. I mean, I could do it today, but all this wet weather is really making texture paints and basing stuff take 3 times as long to dry.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be a full day.
Yeah.
So guess what turned up yesterday?
I don't know. Some dwarves?
Some dwarves.
Wow. And how were they sent to you? What shipping method were they sent via?
International Post.
Was it RAI Global or something?
No, just standard post.
Right, okay. There you go.
International Standard Economy.
Did you have any indication that they were coming?
Nope.
Nope. Right. Well, you know how phishing is a thing.
Mm.
Well, I got an email this morning. Oh no, sorry, it's a DAI post. Your parcel has landed in the country and will be customs processing in the next 24 to 48 hours. Where's my parcel now? Track it here. And it's DAIGlobalTrack.com tracking ASPX customer track number blah 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 email. So I mean the URL looks legit. They've also got the right destination, suburb, and postcode on it, so it looks legit. So I'm wondering if that's not dwarves plus some other stuff.
Well, I've never heard of DAI.
No, neither have I. See, the outrage box of figures that came from France was sent DHL, and I got emails and messages anytime somebody in DHL sneezed. Whereas this has come completely out of the blue. I actually don't know what this parcel is.
Well, DAI Post is apparently a real company that was based in Melbourne, founded in the year 2000.
Right.
So maybe somewhere. Oh, weird. Literally never heard of.
Yes.
Work with global freight brands to get you blah blah blah. Trusted wholesale chain supplier partner to some of the world's most known freight consolidation brands to get stuff across Australia, New Zealand, and Asia. Could be literally anything.
Could be.
But yeah, it came Royal Mail, so.
Well, if yours came Royal Mail. The only other thing, how big a package was it? So, I mean, how many kilos?
800 grams.
800 grams, righto. I'm actually expecting that the package that the dwarves come in for me is something along the lines of 5 to 6 kilos. Because of all of the associated other stuff that's supposed to be coming with it. If that stuff comes with it. But anyhow.
Well, none of my stuff came with mine. Like, I have an outstanding order with Ralpatha still.
Yeah, so they just shipped you the dwarves.
Yeah.
Right. That's not terribly useful. How long's that order been outstanding?
It was placed a month ago tomorrow.
Right. Okay. I did note to Ross last time I was speaking to him because he's travelling at the moment, so if he's listening, hello Ross. I hope your moving of your children is going to plan. That where was I going with that? Too many asides.
You were upset about how long.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, I was telling him about how I was starting to plan the 12-month celebration of an order that hasn't been fulfilled yet. With celebration being a,
Yeah.
Anyhow, he said he would be sure to pass that on. So. Anyhow, I'm not signing it. So tell me. What do you think of said dwarves?
Well, I'll lead off with the bad first.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I'm short a miniature.
Right.
I sent off a message yesterday through Kickstarter saying blah blah blah. Look, here's some photos of the packets I received. This particular lot you've advertised as being a 10 miniature set. I've only got 9.
Right. Okay. See what
Which,
comes out of that.
Yeah. Nothing has yet, and it's been 24 hours, basically.
Yeah, but...
Oh, 22.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, I like what I've seen so far. I haven't pulled them apart. Yep. Everything else seems to be there. And I've just picked up the wrong box off the table next to me.
Right.
That hurts. My shoulders are killing me.
Were you able to identify which miniature was missing?
No, I wasn't, because it was one of the ones from a previous Kickstarter that was an add-on set.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there are they never were completed as a set. Images of that set put together, only 5 of those turned up in the previous Kickstarter.
Right.
Previous applicable Kickstarter. And I don't know which one was missing, because it turns out there's about 17 or 18 miniatures in that particular set
Right.
of 10. So I don't know which one I'm supposed to have gotten.
Right.
If I was supposed to have gotten, if the 10 miniatures wasn't a mistake altogether.
Right.
Hell of a mistake to make, I think, if that's the case.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely I missed one. Anyway.
Well, but the casting quality is good, and
yeah, some of these have got little bits of dagglies on them, but I don't see any split in half molds where it's obviously a casting error or anything like that.
yeah.
I haven't had a super great look, but yeah, they look all right to me.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, yeah, okay, looks like you got a few bits to chop off that
Yeah.
are there to aid the pouring process. But,
That's normal.
that is normal. They're good looking little beggars for dwarves.
I enjoyed painting them. For the 4 that I painted.
Hmm.
It all just seems so long ago.
Well, it was, 7 months ago? November of last year.
Yeah.
That was when it went live, and you were doing it before then.
Well, actually, no. I painted those during the campaign.
Well, okay.
In a
Then
heck
it
of a hurry.
was
So
7 months ago.
yeah, because they turned up when the campaign was live in a shipment. Can you please paint these as a matter of priority? Sure. Turned them around in a day and then waited a week for them to post the update that had them in it.
Yeah, I remember.
Mm. We operate on different timescales, I think. Anyhow.
So, practical question for you.
Mm.
What sort of tool do you use to snip off the slots of slotter-based miniatures? I've just been using a sharp blade knife to cut them away, but these are a little bit thicker than what I've been cutting. Okay, you got nibblies. Really sharp nibblies.
So
I'm not
these are
sure
the
my
these are
nibblies will
the
take
these are
it.
the these are the shit ones from Citadel. And the reason these are sitting here is because I use these for all the metal ones. Now, these ones, which are by Zuron, I use these for the plastics. And the Zurons are a third of the price and better in every way.
Yeah, that's what I use for my model kits.
Yep. So that's what these are. They've just got a bigger jaw.
Yeah. But we're talking about metal miniatures here,
Yeah,
so...
yeah, and that's why. But when I'm dealing with all the Corvus Belly stuff, which come with tabs underneath them and all that sort of stuff, I'm using these to cut them off because they're the asymmetric blade cutter style thing. You get a
Yeah,
nice sharp edge.
yeah, that's... Okay.
But yeah, I'm not using the 0-1s on the metal because I want to keep those blades unnotched.
Yeah, fair enough. I won't be using my model kit building ones.
No.
Definitely not. Those are a great little piece of kit I picked up in Darwin, of all places.
Yeah.
Not normally a town I associate with building models.
No.
But they were like $5, I think.
Yeah. Well, see, me being me, when I went and got the Zuron, I bought 2 pairs, so I had a spare. Because that is the second set of the Citadel ones I've had, and that's the second set of Citadel ones that are broken. So I went, well, if I have the same experience with these ones, then I'm going to need a spare, because they don't... Is it fair to say they didn't last very long? They did a heck of a lot of work in a short space of time, so maybe that's unfair. I've just realised I've missed a bit on that. Anyhow, value for money wise, the Citadel ones were not good.
You could say that about quite a lot of their tools.
All of them?
Oh, quite a lot at least.
Do we need to go through and try and figure out which one we would consider to be value for money? Because I can't think of one off the top of my head. Brushes. No. Well, having said that, their dry brushes do stand up pretty well.
Well, there you go.
Oh, and I painted the wrong part of the damned sleeve. This is what happens when you're too busy ragging on gaming companies.
Well, it's a shame you're not using speed paint, because that just comes off quite easily in water.
Yeah, I know. But then the blues wouldn't match.
Well... Yeah.
And as you can see, if the contrast paint hasn't set, it comes off too.
Yeah.
But not quite as badly as the army painter. Now concentrate and paint the right sleeve, damn it. Dog is feeling hard done by. Something about it being cold outside.
Cold weather in Victoria.
Yeah, I know.
A few days shy of winter.
Hard to imagine, isn't it? It's a fairly crisp morning this morning, though. What is it now? 8.4.
Oh, good heavens. Yeah, no, forget that. I'll see you in the summer.
Or next Tuesday. Yep.
You coming up here next Tuesday? Or are you buying me tickets?
It's unlikely. It's unlikely. If I'm not going to work dues, I'm unlikely to be going anywhere, really. First trip out the door will be to the US. Although there is a thing going around at the moment that says that I have to get a PCR to be able to get on the plane.
Yeah, Dan Andrews is making a stink about COVID again. You've got a state election coming up, have you?
I don't know. One election at a time, please. I just can't deal with the moronic.
Yeah, well, if you haven't early voted, today's your day.
Well, I have.
Good. I won't ask who you vote for because I never do. I don't think a person should say who they vote for.
In a two-party preferred system, it's virtually irrelevant.
Well, seeing as how the parties are sliding closer towards each other in the middle, in the rational middle, and then both extending themselves outwards towards the fringes. One side going faster than the other.
It's a case of we've almost got
A uniparty.
Yeah.
We do. On major policies, Australia has a uniparty.
Yeah.
It's on the fringe stuff where things get a little wacko, and that's where your differences are.
Yes.
And it's been like that for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since Bob Brown got in bed with Julia Gillard.
How uncomfortable is that image?
Yeah, it's one of those famous ones.
Mm.
Makes you retch every time. Well, makes me retch every time I see it.
Feeling blue. Blue and white, at any rate. Yes, just going to avoid it. Having early voted, I don't need to pay any attention to it today whatsoever.
Well, I early voted 2 weeks ago, so
yeah,
I haven't paid any attention to it either.
it's like, oh, there's that. I got a reminder from Facebook of all places this morning.
Yeah, I've had a couple of those. Facebook does like to stick its nose into your business.
Tells you what to do.
Hey, go and get COVID tested.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it's another Facebook ad saying go vote.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them.
2?
Oh, no, it's one saying blah, 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 blah. It just took forever to load its GIF.
Right.
I don't think I want to get my election information from Facebook.
Nope. I didn't really want to get it from the man standing at the door either, but you know.
Well, when I went, I was greeted by my current local member, and he stepped in front of me.
Oh, okay. That was possibly unwise, given that.
Given how it was raining and I didn't have an umbrella, I shoulder checked him.
And there's a size differential, I imagine.
Actually, he's about my height,
Right.
but he was, 3-piece suit, which is totally in clash with his party image.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got a shoulder check for standing in my way in the driving rain.
Right.
Silly bugger.
So, uh,
I
he'll
never take a how to vote card
no.
from anyone. It's just no, I'm not interested. I'll vote how I want, how my conscience dictates.
Mm.
And how my conscience dictates is put your standing member last always, and then put the rest of the major parties right above him.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's the
absolutely.
only thing I will say on how to vote in Australia.
Mm.
Put your local member last.
Make their lives uncomfortable. Make them
Well,
work.
if enough people do it, then you shake up and you get fresh people coming through.
Mm.
Now, granted, they're still going to be captured by the system, but they may not necessarily be captured by the system yet.
You just want to generate an environment, and I'm not advocating for any particular party or individual or ethos or whatever, but you just want to create an environment where they have to work to stay where they are. This whole safe seat nonsense is nonsense.
Quite agree.
And I hold the same feelings about project management, by the way.
Project managers' seats shouldn't be safe.
Absolutely not. And it shouldn't be contingent upon delivery of the current project if you're working in a long lived product. It should be measured on not only this project but all subsequent ones as well. Because I'm dealing with a 12-year legacy of shortcuts taken by project managers to hit project deadlines. And they're all looking at me screaming about the fact that it takes us too long to deliver functionality. And I'm like, well, you go and have a conversation with the people who preceded you. Because that lies at their feet, not at mine. And absolutely nobody likes it when I call it elected politician syndrome. But in fact, that's actually what it is. How do we end up back in politics?
We
Oh,
mentioned
yes,
the election
there's a friggin'
just as a
election.
public service,
Yes.
seeing as how we have a large proportion of Australians involved with this particular strain.
Yep. At least a couple of large Australians, anyway.
Yeah, I'm liking these dwarf dungeoneers.
Oh, good.
I've just been admiring them. The add-on equipment pack is not as many pieces as I thought it might have been, but there's still a bit there. I would have liked a couple more shields. There's only the one shield in the packet.
If you were to glue the entire add-on pack onto one figure, would it look silly?
Maybe. Seeing as how one of them is a torch with a hand already as part of the sculpt.
You can explain that
that-
away. Thing? Shine a light. Oh dear.
Yeah, but a three-handed dwarf. Although, I just got what you were putting down. Yeah, there's a pickaxe, there's a hammer, there's a shield. There's a shovel. Torch with a hand. Coin pouches that look suspiciously like danglies, except there's three of them.
Right.
A sword, torch. Oh, there's another pair of danglies. And a backpack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bits.
That'd be one very well equipped dungeoneer.
Hmm.
I am looking forward to them.
Well, as you should be.
But I'd also be lying if I said that the gloss hadn't come off somewhat. And we're going to run into trouble with Interceptor.
Getting production done.
Yeah. Because
Figured that'd be the case.
we may have some done in time for Gen Con. But the problem, of course, is that they're not all going to be done, and we can't afford to get all of them shipped by air freight to get them into distribution, to get them out to the people who back the Kickstarter. Like, I don't know if you're aware at the moment, but global shipping is difficult and very expensive. Like, I can't remember what Ross was saying, but the freight prices have tripled or quadrupled or possibly even more.
Well, something to do with fuel costs doing the same, I expect.
Yeah, you know, the war in Ukraine is not helping, but you know, there's
China's not helping.
China's not helping. The global container mismanagement thing on top of that, and so you know, there's all sorts of reasons. But it just means that you know there are going to be some people who are very unhappy because people are going to be able to buy a copy of this at Gen Con before they've received their Kickstarter pledge. And that's disappointing.
I remember another related Kickstarter, sort of, that had that happen, and yes, people were extremely unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Battletech Clan Invasion.
Yep. Well, there were people buying the Wave 2 stuff of that before I got mine. So I've definitely been on the
Yeah,
receiving end of it. So I know.
famously, the Wave 1 stuff turned up at Gen Con before it was started being dispatched to Kickstarter backers.
Yeah. And, you know, there's not a heck of a lot to mitigate it other than if there were backers that are able to come to Gen Con, then they can collect them from there. But it's cold comfort, it really is. The reality is that you've got a product launch and you've got one of the biggest gaming conventions in the world where you can either do that product launch or you can let it sit on a shelf. So it's a very difficult decision to make. I don't think anybody's particularly happy about it, but
No, quite.
and I don't like being in the firing line again because, the first being in the firing line for the failure of the first Kickstarter wasn't very comfortable. So, but it is what it is. And then I'm also thankful that I didn't happen to go in onto a particular 7-figure paint-related Kickstarter, because that debacle is still going on.
Well, yeah. I must admit I'm not a great fan of Kickstarter as a model anyway.
No, and it's... we were having this conversation. You know who Asmodee are?
Not really.
Okay, well, they're a global distribution company, and for the last 20 years, maybe more, they've been buying up gaming distributors till the point where they effectively have a worldwide monopoly on gaming distribution, games and game-related products. So you've got, when you produce a new gaming product, if you want to get it into distribution, you've got two choices. You go to Kickstarter, or crowdfund it in some way, or you go to Asmodee and then lose control of how your product is distributed. And that's the state of the world at the moment. So Kickstarter has a great number of downsides, if you ask me, as a model. But the one upside is that the people producing the product get to retain control of how it's distributed. They don't get to be dictated to by a big distribution company. So you're sort of rocking a hard place, really.
Yeah, fair enough.
And unlike the Royal Navy, we really did want the lesser of two weevils. There's more protein in the better weevil.
When I was a young fella, I had a book of cutaway diagrams of HMS Victory.
Yeah.
Deck by deck, cutaway sections.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always remember this cutaway section where it had the galley.
Yeah.
And it showed the crew at leisure and all that. And off to the side, there was a little blurb on ship's biscuit.
Yep.
Full of maggots.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. And that ship's biscuit with all the maggots sailing on it is my most remembered image from that particular book.
Yep. It's because it would have been horrifying.
Yeah, well, not so much as a 10-year-old, but,
Mm-hmm.
was, yeah, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Eye-opener.
Mm-hmm.
Things really aren't that bad anymore.
Yeah, we should get a T-shirt made up. It doesn't matter how bad life gets. You could always be in the Royal Navy. we go. They're all feeling a little bit more blue.
I'm blue, la-dee-dee, la-dee-da, da-dee-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da.
I'm sure there's an a cappella version. Well, there we go. Only took an hour for Joe to get up and take the dog for a walk.
Oh, it's cold outside.
It certainly is. Got this guy to do later. He's the limited edition guy that came with Raven Eye. The pre-order exclusive edition that dozens of will end up in the bargain bin in about 12 months' time. Because that's what seems to happen with Corvus Belly limited edition miniatures. Not that I'm complaining, because I've been attempting to put together a collection, so still being able to get a hold of some of these is actually quite good.
I guess I don't really see the point of limited edition miniatures if you're able to paint them your own way and convert them your own way. They end up just looking like anything else.
The whole thing is just a scam. It's just designed to scam idiots like me that want to have one of everything.
Well, it is a business model.
Yeah. I'm not sure how successful it is. Like, they have to make the molds, so you'd want to run a certain number of miniatures through the mold to get the money out of the mold.
Well, I'm thinking of it like NFTs.
NFTs?
Non-fungible tokens, the greatest scam on earth currently.
Is this a stock market thing?
No, not really.
Right.
Basically, you buy the rights to claim that a JPEG is yours, of which they are supposedly limited in number, but you don't actually own anything physical, and it's all blockchain, crypto weirdness.
Right.
Um,
This is already
it's
sounding
scam.
diabolically bad.
It is. It is. Spend 5 minutes looking into non-fungible tokens, and you will discover that it is a sucker's bet. Artificial scarcity, but nothing is enforcing that artificial scarcity. In fact, it's quite likely that they will scam you and take your money and then produce millions of things for free, and then people can make copies of it anyway, and you don't actually own anything.
No.
it's a dirty, great big cash scam.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It really does.
People got really excited for them for about a month.
Right.
And then people actually started to wake up and realize that actually, yeah, this is a good way to separate fools from their money. Maybe we'll stop going in on them.
Didn't somebody...
Video gaming companies tried to get in on them with NFT versions of characters and games and DLCs, and like, no, this is crap. We're not going to get in on this. And a lot of them faced really quite severe backlash after being, oh, look, this is a good way to separate people from their money. Microtransactions aren't going so well anymore. People are sick of those. Let's try something new.
Yep.
At Ubisoft and Electronic Arts and Activision and all the rest. And then they got, howled down. quite rightly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Money fads. Well,
Mm.
it's really more a case of commerce fad, isn't it?
Well, it's like a digital version of buying land on the moon.
Yeah.
You can say that you did. You've handed over the money. You got a piece of paper that says that you did, but you got no actual ownership of anything.
That's right. It's like buying an asteroid.
Mm.
I once had this argument with a guy at work. He was talking about he owned his house, and I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but it was along the lines of it was an immutable deal. Like, he owned that house and he owned that land, and nobody could take it off him. And I'm just looking at him blinking, and the whole concept of ownership is it's a human conceit. And any time a government wants to take something off people, they'll take something off people. Or, if there's an armed conflict comes along and somebody drops bombs on his house, well, the insurance company's not going to pay up because they've got war clauses in. So there's all kinds of ways in which owning a house is not in any way a permanent thing at all. It. So I don't know. I'd just like it if people were a little bit more skeptical about some of this kind of stuff. But like, didn't somebody crash cryptocurrency?
Yeah, it's coming apart at the seams. I think Bitcoin is down to a quarter of its value of a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what happens with bubbles, they burst.
Yeah. Let's talk about volatility. What does volatility mean? Yep. I'm convinced the stock market's a scam too.
Well, it kind of is.
Well, how does someone like Bernie Madoff trade for however many years he traded for as a Ponzi scheme and get away with it?
Because people wanted to believe.
Yeah. Trade
The
on people's
Standard
hopes.
Poor Index is down 20% from January.
Yeah.
That's an entire stock market.
Yeah. But there is a war going on.
Yeah, but I don't think that's actually got anything to do with it.
Well, no, this is the after effect of COVID as well.
Yeah. Seeing as how Ukraine is largely agricultural and not all about tech stocks.
Well, no, but Russia is. And so, putting sanctions on Russia means that kind of stuff is
Yeah, but none of
adjusted.
those sanctions have actually worked because those sanctions are only on a few people. And they don't actually stop Russia from getting any money for its oil and gas.
Of course they don't, because there's all kinds of exceptions in place, and we're going to put sanctions and you
being
accept
winter.
this and that, and it's like, if you want to hurt them economically. Don't do it in halves, do it in fulls. But I just, I can't help thinking, and I'm going to get into a lot of trouble here. I can't help thinking that the Russian sanctions were as much of a bandwagon as anything else that's happened in the last 2 or 3 years, whereby there's a bunch of people who decide that in order to not be on the wrong side of public opinion, they need to behave in a certain way because
Correct.
social media. And that's what it feels like. It doesn't actually feel like it was a
Yeah,
wholehearted effort at all.
that's exactly right. I mean, if it was truly a battle of good and evil, like social media proclaims it,
Hmm.
it would actually be a world war, and there'd be a lot more than just Russia and Ukraine on either side,
That's right.
and you'd have countries lining up on both sides.
That's right. But
But
it
that's not
isn't.
what's happening.
It's not.
People are just giving them money. It's a big wealth transfer scheme.
Yep. And while the threats of nuclear intervention.
Well, those have been going on for months and it hasn't happened yet.
No, I realise it has probably won't happen, but it also means that those helpful little clauses in the sanction treaties will continue.
Hmm.
So,
Now that's an image I won't forget.
what's that?
Just to go circular for once.
Mm.
'Cause we never do that.
Because we never do that.
One of the issues of that Team Yankee comic, I think it was issue 5
Mm.
of 6, ended on on a 2-page splash of such and such happened. The Russians nuked Birmingham,
Right,
and in retaliation, we nuked Minsk.
right.
And it was just these 2 pages of,
Atomic explosions.
yeah.
Hmm.
And it was like, wow, what a way to end a comic on.
Hmm.
What a cliffhanger. I'm glad I only have to turn 1 page to get to the next issue.
Yeah, it's like, oh, then what happened?
But it was one of those really, really stuck with me sort of images.
Yeah, why wouldn't it?
Hmm. Well, yeah, and it's a 6-year-old and all that. Anyway.
Oh, that's a big, pretty explosion. Don't really understand the implications of that at 6.
Well, no, I got it. Seeing as how everything was low level, high intensity tank stuff at
Mm.
that point. And then you've got these cities, tiny little cities with tiny little skyscrapers being blotted out by this huge mushroom cloud,
Hmm.
all orange and yellow and fire. And I'm like, oh, things just got real.
Yep. Why Birmingham?
I don't know. Because they needed a big city that in the UK.
That wasn't London.
Hmm.
Just realised I've got half my dinner down my front. Last night's dinner, not tonight's. I'm not preempting.
Is it any good though?
Ah, the perils of nachos. Well,
Mm.
I'm not going to be able to tell. I'll have to rehydrate it to get it out. As in,
Nachos are pretty good.
put top in wash. 15. You got much else on for the rest of the weekend?
Um, Well, I'll see Andrea tonight, but other than that, not really. I'm having trouble deciding what I want to paint next.
The problem, as you so eloquently pointed out, is choice.
Do I want to keep going with Demonworld and start on these human barbarians that I've got half a box of, or do I want to do some critical mass, or do I want to do some of these 28 dwarves and goblins and ratmen? I like these ratman figures.
So, if you're actually gonna conform to any of the modern memes, then obviously you have to pick the dwarves, because how else can you have a meme photo of a guy turning around to look at a girl going the other way and his girlfriend taking umbrage with captions that says, me, the new box of miniatures, and my pile of shame.
I
Maybe
feel like that one's been done before, but I know exactly what you mean.
it certainly has. Like, I get that one probably once a month. Have you seen the drinking game one?
No.
Take a shot for every unpainted miniature you've got. No, only kidding. Don't do that. You'll die.
Yeah, figured.
Jo was laughing at me about it. She said, yes, you would die. I hesitated to point out that I would die for just
Very, very quickly.
for just one product line. Not even all of them. And I have to say that when you're painting one Infinity miniature at a time, the quantity in the painted cabinet doesn't go up very quickly. Unlike the Napoleonic stuff.
I've just had a minor accident.
Oh no!
Um,
No nun oil.
no. I was going through the box of stuff with the Barbarians and critical mass, etc. You know, the packet with the double-headed dragon has
Yes.
open,
Oh
and the
no.
pieces are loose in the box. There we go. I think I got it all back in the packet.
You don't want it to end up being a single-headed dragon because you lost one of the heads.
Right. 2 heads are better than 1.
Yep.
Hello, Tasmania.
We're all about the microaggressions today.
So, what do you reckon about brush painting Xenophil style?
Why wouldn't it work just as well as airbrush Zenithal?
Yeah, but like pain in the ass.
Oh, it'd be a nightmare. It'd be an absolute nightmare, but it'd still look good.
Hmm. I think next week I might place an order for some stuff.
An airbrush, compressor.
Oh Christ, no, I can't afford that.
Right.
But rattle can primers are so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, $30 a can. How many miniatures do you get out of them?
100.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, you can get airbrushes that would do what you want to do with the zenithal highlighting for probably a complete kit for probably about $30. And you can buy cans of compressed air, which end up expensive in the long run, but aren't that expensive in the short run if you're not doing very much. So, you could tool that up relatively cheaply. If you wanted to give it a go. But you don't have to. Just a suggestion.
Well, my whole problem with airbrushes and rattle cans is that I'm still constrained.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only reason I've been able to get away with the rattle can varnish is that it's, not pigmented.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been a living nightmare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're constrained by your environment, aren't you?
Yeah. Otherwise, I probably would have been in on an airbrush, maybe. I don't know, I like brush painting.
Yeah, so do I. But, it's another one of these cases of, if you have a screwdriver, you don't have to use the hammer.
Hmm.
You can, but you don't have to. And these style with the trigger, they are fabulous. Because you don't have to have the finger dexterity. Anyhow, a good quality airbrush setup is not cheap. Not in anybody's definition of cheap, ever.
I am a little short on readies at the moment.
Yes, I can imagine.
Well, I was going to say, I bought Andrea a new microwave yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Well, hers had just blown up, and she was also a little short on readies, and I was doing a little bit better. So, yeah.
So you're going around tonight to have something cooked in it?
Actually, probably.
Bonus! That was just supposed to be a gag.
Well, did I tell you she'd got herself a new job?
You told me that she'd got a job and that she'd been there a month, and then they said thanks but no thanks. Is that
Yeah.
has that changed since then, or is that still the current
No.
status quo?
No. That's the status quo. I just wanted to make sure I didn't have to explain all that again.
Mm.
No. One of the things that she was doing for time saving was cooking up lots and lots of meals in the slow cooker and then freezing them.
Yep.
And now we got to go through
Mm-hmm.
them. And look, it's not bad stuff at all.
Oh, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, just that's probably what I'm expecting for dinner.
Uh-huh.
Something that was done in a slow cooker a
Yeah.
little while ago and was heated up
Yep.
in the fancy new microwave. And yeah,
This is exactly how Joe makes her bolognese.
big batch and freeze it.
7-litre slow cooker that is bubbling over. So a significantly large batch of bolognese sauce that is at least 50% vegetable, if not more,
As it should be.
as it should be. And that she freezes it in served portions, and because we've got a deep freeze out in the garage, so go out to garage in the morning, get a packet of bolognese out, leave it out all day to defrost. Dinner is sorted. See, at the end of next week, so the day after the next live stream on the Sunday, I'll be dropping her off at the airport. She will be going up to Darwin to visit her youngest son and his girlfriend and spend 2 weeks in the Northern Territory wobbling around to places like Kakadu and Catherine and various other bits and pieces. And so, because she's away and she's 100% convinced that I can't look after myself, which she's probably right, she's cooked about 8 weeks worth of food.
Well, if that's not love, I don't know what is.
Well, absolutely it is. I'm a bit concerned that there's about 8 weeks worth. I think she might be absconding.
Oh, I think if she was absconding, she wouldn't have done anything.
Yes, true.
So
Think
you're
for yourself,
all
asshole. Yeah, so absolutely spoiled for choice. I've got about 5 pizzas frozen in the inside freezer, a whole bunch of lunches. An interesting message from my daughter last night.
Congratulations, by the way.
On?
Didn't she just get married?
No, she's engaged. They're building a house.
Oh, I thought she just got married.
No, that wasn't her. She was at the wedding, but I think she was a bridesmaid. Something along those lines. Anyhow, no, they haven't set a date for the wedding yet. They're waiting to get into the house. The house has just had the roof trusses put on it. Last night's conversation was all about how she just got a diagnosis of ADHD.
Is that 3 for 3 now?
3 for 3. 2 autistic and 1 ADHD.
I do wonder sometimes.
About
how commonly diagnosed it is nowadays.
A lot more.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not.
It's
I'm
just keen to sell medicine to kids.
possibly, but the other thing that I need to be aware of is that she's a grown woman. You know, she's in the latter half of her 20s. She knows when things are not right. And, you know, I have to respect the path that she's walking to try and figure out what's wrong and what can she do about it. Because God knows I've suffered enough in my life. I never bothered to go and get diagnoses of anything. I've attempted to manage it through other means, but, you know, she's tried that and it hasn't worked. So she's tried other stuff. That hasn't worked either. So,
Oh. Well, at least she's getting help.
she's certainly doing the work to try and improve things, which is good. Unlike our old man who just gave up on himself a long time ago.
I shouldn't laugh.
It's a men thing too, isn't it?
Sure is.
Not that we're in any way gender biased on this live stream. At all.
Well, here we are disparaging men.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's the good kind of gender bias. The permissible kind.
Not sure it is. Not sure it is.
Well, politically permissible.
Mm.
Socially permissible. We've done really well the last couple of weeks, steering clear of troublesome topics.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you realise that.
And today we've just gone in boots and all. Well, okay. Footwear of an appropriate choice. Because why not be politically correct about something that's meaningless?
Yes, those tents of black shoe polish are just for my boots.
Mm-hmm. No cabaret performances for you. Oh dear, oh dear. There'll be a very long disclaimer on this one, won't there? A very long disclaimer. If you are in any way offended by anything at all, don't watch it. Have you ever listened to The Offspring?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the California punk band of the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might even still be going. I don't know. I've lost track. But anyhow. On their very first album. Sorry?
You're pretty fly for a white guy.
Well, yeah, that was a later effort.
Anyway, their first album.
Which was called Smash.
Mm-hmm.
Which was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it as a young man. I thought it was excellent. But, yeah, they had a track which was called The Disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
It goes along the lines of, welcome to the disclaimer. This apple pie American institution known as parental discretion will cleanse any innuendo or sarcasm from the lyrics which might actually make you think, will also insult your intelligence at the same time. I've gone blank, but the punchline is, and if it offends you, just don't listen to it. It's like simple, to the point.
Ahead of its time, really.
Ahead of its of its time
still hasn't come yet.
Of its time. No, that whole, that was when CD cases were being stickered with, warning explicit lyrics, blah blah blah. So
still are, to my knowledge.
Well, they are, but that's when the laws were changed to make that mandatory. Anyhow.
Hmm.
Hopeless. Well, the metal on these is just a little bit tedious.
Could be bare flesh.
Could be acres and acres of it.
So I've decided what I'm going to do next.
Dwarves.
No.
Barbarians.
Yes, barbarians. Some barbarians. One packet of the huge bears.
Oh, cool.
Now, these are guys that come on non-standard footings because they're about, well, they're not 28. They're about 20, 21 mil tall.
Mm-hmm.
These individual figures, and they're just big barrel-chested dudes with two-handed axes and a lot of hair.
Mm-hmm.
And kilts.
Well, why not?
Oh no, they got tunics. They're not kilts. They're tunics. They got sleeves.
Never seen a kilt with sleeves.
Mm. These are not, aside from being cool miniatures, they're stepping up towards the dwarves in size, and
I reckon they're probably a very good candidate for speed paints too.
Well, I was thinking that.
What's the time, Matty? My stomach says it's
It's
heading for 10.
9:38 by my clock.
There you go.
My stomach kind of says the same too.
Hmm.
Though I won't be eating before lunch.
I'll just be
I'm
bringing
not a
lunch
breakfast
forward.
person.
Say that again?
I'm not a breakfast person.
Right.
Yeah, that was a big yawn. Unusual being out of bed at this time of day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unusual, unwanted.
I've come to enjoy sleeping in.
I just wish I could.
Definitely not unwanted, by the way.
Just wish I could. I cannot. You know, by the time 8 o'clock rolls around, I'm so ridiculously uncomfortable, I just have to get up. And, you know, I think we talked about this in the past about the mattress and all that kind of stuff. You know, we're on a $5,000 mattress, so
Yeah.
Struggling. Wash the brush out. Yeah, I did really well Monday night, Tuesday night. Got some infinity figures painted, and like I was doing one a day. I got one done Sunday, one done Monday, one done Tuesday, and I was feeling very pleased with myself. And then I got to Wednesday at work, and by knockoff time I was just brain dead. Like I had nothing left to give, and so I didn't paint. I just shot aliens, and Thursday was a repeat of Wednesday.
Yeah, you mentioned 18 hours in meetings over the course of 2 days.
3 days. That's not better.
No,
averaging
that's
6
spreading out.
hours. Yeah, I work a 7.5 hour day, and 6 hours of each day is stuck in meetings. It's ridiculously unproductive.
Well, that's my professional experience of meetings.
Yep. If you want to spend some time and get not much done, call a meeting. I did to start designing more laser cut buildings.
Been a little while since you've teased that project.
Yeah, and I've got a set of rules to go through and lay up, and got stacks and stacks to do. Just no
Help.
well, that too. There are people that are working on the Demonworld project. There's a couple of writers that are writing, and I've got an editor helping out, and she's got a very difficult situation at home because her husband has multiple sclerosis, and he just got pneumonia. So now he's in a long-term acute care hospital.
Oh, jeez.
So that's very ordinary. Shout out to Kathy. I hope you're doing okay. So, stuff is moving forward. The problem's me. The bottleneck is me. I'm in a position sitting here today on what is the 21st of May, and can freely admit that I spent most of March and all of April severely depressed. And I gritted my teeth and I pushed through it, but I didn't get a whole lot done. So yeah.
Know how that goes. knows.
Yeah, I know you're aware. It wasn't until last weekend, really, that I actually started feeling normal at all. Well, my version of normal. Tried to help some other people with some of those problems along the way. There's a painter I follow on Instagram and Facebook. She has similar sorts of problems. She wanted to get a companion, a dog, just, to help try and balance her mood and all that kind of stuff. So I contributed to the GoFundMe for that. But those are very short bursts of, do you call them happiness, or do you just call them less unhappiness?
Less unhappiness, probably.
Less unhappiness, yeah. I'm sure you're well aware that the clouds just closed back in again.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a very difficult thing to deal with.
Yeah, that microwave is kind of worn off already.
The food will reignite that briefly.
God, I hope not. Warm it over a bit.
It depends on how long you got it, or you put it on for. How powerful is the microwave? 1200 watt?
It's only a small space, 1,000 watts.
Oh, okay. Just leave it on for an hour. Or put a spoon in it.
Yeah, well.
So many microwave jokes. Yeah. And I'm damn sure they don't get it. At my professional place of employment, they just don't understand. They're not equipped to understand. They don't want to understand.
I think it's the last one. They don't want to.
Yeah. Well, it's actually very difficult to deal with. Like, I constantly get ads in Facebook for men's mental health. And by constantly, I mean, one a week. But like every week for the entire year. And so, you've got Beyond Blue and you've got Men Shed and you've got all this kind of stuff. There's half a dozen of them around now. So, I mean, at least on one hand, they're recognizing that it is an issue. But on the other hand, if I'm there, I don't want to be talking to a stranger about it. I'm not interested in a stranger's opinion. I don't even want to have to attempt to articulate it to somebody else. So stop bullying me to do that, basically.
I wonder if that's just not age-targeted advertising from Facebook, because
is.
I don't get those.
Interesting. Yeah, it probably
And
is.
we're in a different age group.
Yep.
At least as far as Facebook advertising is concerned.
Yeah. You're probably right. I'm in my early 50s.
I get the targeted advertising for 18 to 40s, which is a lot of solar panels.
Okay.
Seriously, most of the
Yeah.
Facebook advertising I get is aimed at people buying their first homes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of it is for solar panel rebates. And I'm like, no. And so I report and block every single advertising company I see on Facebook as a scam or politically misleading.
Yeah.
Because it's both.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm right there with you.
And so I only see ads on Facebook maybe 2 days out of every month.
Right.
Being the first and second day of the month. In which case I refresh the page a couple of times to get all the new ads that people have paid to run for that month, and then I block them all.
Yep. It's a good plan. I like it.
It gives me about an hour's worth of joy. Seriously, I feel like doing a good deed.
Yeah. I do it with all the betting ads. Like if I get anything from Sportsbet or TAB or anything like that, it's block. Block, 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 block.
I think I've blocked every betting company on the planet already.
Can't stand it. You know.
It's bad enough that it's on sports, and I know you don't watch a lot of sports, but most of the advertising around professional sports in this country is betting companies.
That's it.
Hell, they even get the commentators to do ads for them at halftime.
Yep. And not even at halftime. It's just like,
and
by the way.
In the midst of the bloody call.
That's it. Yeah. Because they had to find a way around the fact that you can block ads. So it's like, we'll pay these people to spruik it on air. You know. Anyhow. So yeah, I have actually been watching quite a bit of sport. If you consider sports car racing to be sports.
Well, it is.
I've watched...
But you're watching from the era of the cigarette advertising.
No.
Are you watching current stuff?
Yeah, I was watching last year's World Endurance Championship.
Okay, I thought you might still be watching the 70s and 80s.
No, and that was Formula One. But I moved on to World Endurance Championship for last year, which was the introductory year for hypercar. So not a lot of hypercars, but still very interesting racing. But when you consider how much entertainment, there's only 6 races. You go, well, that's not a lot of races. Yes, but so you had, was it 8 hours of Portimao? So there's 8 hours. 6 hours of Spa, 14. Is it 6 hours at Monza? I think it might have been. So there's 20. 24 hours at Le Mans, there's 44. And now I've did the 6 hours of Bahrain, so that's 50. And now I'm into the 8 hours of Bahrain. So there'll be 58 hours total entertainment across 6 races.
Not bad.
Not bad. And I do like listening to Martin Haven and Alan McNish squabble like old wives. That's great. Because McNish has been there. Like, he had a 20 plus something career as a top sports car driver. One of the most monumental accidents of all time. How he walked away from that, I will never imagine. But anyhow. And Haven's a little bit more old school, and he's quite excitable, and he's kind of from the Murray Walker flavour of commentary, but not quite that bad. But he's very excitable and not always politically correct, shall we say, which I do enjoy, especially when he picks on Alec Midish's height. Speculative comments about who would be taller, the person that's being interviewed or the interviewer. It's good fun. I understand that in the current climate, political correctness climate, it's probably not appreciated, but who cares?
Tell me, do they have grid girls at Bahrain?
Nope. They don't have grids.
Oh.
So they park the cars up Le Mans style. So they park diagonally outside the front of the pits. And there's all the pre-race ceremonies done, national anthems are played, blah 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 blah. But there's no grid girls. There's only teams working on the cars and drivers and whatever. They set off and they do a lap under the safety car. They separate the hypercar field from the LMP2 field from the GTE Pro and then the GTE Am fields. So there's all like a car length or a car length and a half between the fields. They all roll around in a formation, and then when they get to the line, the red lights go out and they're under racing conditions. So it's a complete rolling start, which is, completely unlike Formula One and that sort of short form of races. But it's I don't know, watching the 24 Hours of Le Mans, it's hilarious because like I'm only watching it as I'm painting. I'm not really even watching it. I'm just sitting here listening to it, and I glance up and look at it from time to time if something amusing is going on. But they're 6 hours into the 24 Hours of Le Mans. They got 18 hours to go, and they're like, well, this is the equivalent of 9 Grand Prix left to go. It's actually slightly more than that. It'd be 10. But you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we're in one race. We've got half a Formula One season left to go. I don't know. I'm enjoying it. Others wouldn't.
Well, as long as you're enjoying it and you're not forcing it on anyone else.
No.
There you go. Speaking of enjoying things and forcing them on other people.
It's 10 o'clock.
Well, 9:58.
Right. Well, I'm not stopping now because I've got to get the metal onto that last figure before I walk away and have some breakfast. So
sensible. Just thought I'd give you a
time warning. That is very much appreciated. So we're down to the last guy. It's an elf. Is it a guy? What's the elven word for guy? Do they have such a concept?
You tell me, developer. I imagine these ones would, given their background.
Did you read any of the blog posts that I posted?
I read them all.
You read all of them?
Yeah.
So you'll note that the High Elf society is a very rigid, very hierarchical structure. So I imagine that they possibly don't have terms for guy and gal because it's a more formalized form of communication.
Oh, I see where you're going. Their guy and gal are probably quite formal.
Yeah.
But no less ungendered.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm
which is where I was thinking.
I was trying to think of. They absolutely they treat the sexes completely differently, and we'll dig into that over time, and that'll be uncomfortable for some people, which is good. It needs to be. Just along the lines of, how the Germans have Fräulein, which is the diminutive of Frau.
Had.
Fräulein is very frowned upon nowadays.
I know.
Because it's diminutive. So something along those lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. They call their mobile phones handies. That's difficult to take seriously.
I wish you could see the expression on my face. I will say, though, having dated 3 different German women, I have not actually heard that one before.
What?
Handy.
Really?
Mm.
Yep. That is the colloquial term for a mobile phone in Germany.
Don't think the subject ever came up with one of them.
Mm.
The other ones just called them cell phones.
Okay.
Which is like,
They've adopted the local vernacular. Well, the local vernacular for America.
Yeah, which is strange when they're over here.
So here we are. 4 colours. 12 figures, 4 colours, 2 hours. And a whole bunch of political discourse. A whole bunch of political incorrect discourse.
Hey, we talked about miniatures and painting too.
We did. Yes. There was a miniature painting riot broke out. So yeah, I'll finish them off later today.
I'll be lucky if I get primer to dry.
Yeah. Queensland, perfect one day, floating away the next.
Pretty much.
All good. Thanks, Matty.
Thank you, Dan. Enjoy your breakfast and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, we always try. Don't know if we get there.
Gotta try.
Yeah.
According to Joe, I'm quite trying.
Well, no comment.
Again, I have
try.
8 weeks worth of food in the freezer. She's allowed her opinion.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Be good. Catch you on the flip side.
Bye.
See ya.